Hey guys, T-Bull here. Today we're going to look at the Lenin for you, Tier 7 Soviet Russian Battleship. I got Kedrov on the screen, standard build, didn't really alter it for this. Played about 10 games or so on the ship. I'm going to say I enjoy it. How do we get the ship? Well, currently it's part of, there's this event currency that we're accumulating. I don't know what it is, snow bucks or whatever. And you can accumulate a bunch of them if you do the campaign, you do ranked, you do all the daily missions, but you're still not going to have enough to buy the ship outright. So I think I heard someone say, in passing in the hallway on my Discord, do everything and then you buy 10 Santa crates or whatever it is, you'll have enough of the event currency. I don't know if that's true. You're going to have to do the math. I'm sure people on Reddit have done a deep dive, or you can pop into my Discord. The link's in the description if you want. Ask them. They'll know. I do want to point out, too, by the way, before we get too far into this, closing in on 15,000 subscribers. Thank you all very much for supporting the channel. Giveaways are planned. We got premium ships, tier 6s, tier 5s, and other goodies. So subscribe to the channel if you want to be involved with that. Those giveaways are going to be for subscribers. And once we hit 15, if we ever do, then we'll come up with some more details on how we're going to be giving away those ships. So jumping into this, I got a couple of games here. The first one's a full-length game. Second one, just a clip. But I want to be talking about making plays in battleships. Right now, especially, I've been playing a lot of Legendary tier, testing out the new ships. Drop the anchor, pull out the binoculars, and sit there is usually, it's a very, very common battleship strategy. Now, some battleships do better at range, some don't. This one, I've been closing in close. Number one, I got Kedrov, which is kind of a brawler build. But it seems like it's pretty well set up for close range play, at least in my limited experience with it so far. Good maneuverability, very, very nice turning on this. So I got the prop mod set up on there. We didn't need to enhance the steering with the steering gears mod. But look at this position we're going to get in here. Now, usually a lot of times people abandon B, kind of like our Baltimore did. But I'm not necessarily playing over here with the eye of capturing this. But look at this position here. We potentially have crossfires south of A. Now, if we're sitting way in the back, we're never going to get these shots. Usually what these battleships do, they just send shells northward or southward for the entire match. But if you move in the battleship around and getting into these interesting positions, then we're going to see how we get these crossfire shots as the game goes on. Jean Bart opens the game horizontal. We do have this Alaska down there now. He's going to be a bit of a pest. He's angled in there, so we're not going to necessarily value him as a target right off the bat. And I'm keeping an eye on these ships here because, number one, we're getting heavily countered south of here. So we're going to have to back up, use this island on the right-hand side of the screen to get some cover from these guys. But we're also trying to back up so we get these crossfire shots. These are interesting positions because, like we just said, usually these ships are squaring off north to south. That's where their attention is. But if you find these look for these gaps in the islands. You can find them on the map usually. Those are the kind of money positions where if you get into them and you catch people who aren't really paying attention to you, and again, oftentimes they're not going to be, well, then you can start tagging them for some juicy shots on the side. Still got to back up here, though. We're in a little bit of a trouble. Now, keep an eye on that diagram throughout the match. Not necessarily in this instance, but you can get very steep firing angles. All three of those guns, obviously in the front of the ship, they all swing, around the front. So you can turn from the right-hand side of the ship to the left-hand side very quickly. They all rotate through the front nose of the ship, but you can keep, if you're angling better than we're doing right now, you can get very steep firing angles where your armor, well angled, you're able to ricochet a lot of those shots that are coming your way and still get the maximum firepower. If you're basically pointed directly at the target, you'll still get two guns, which is pretty good, 2/3 of your ship's power acceptable output. But kind of take a look at the situation now on the map. We got these guys to the south still, but we're largely protected by this island in front of us, and I think they're getting kind of distracted by other ships. You can see our team push through the sea cap very quickly. They sent one of their ships all the way to the east. Not a profitable play. Takes them out and, allows our team to steamroll that cap. Now they're going to be coming in and starting to get some crossfire shots on the southward position. So that's going to ease up the pressure on us. Meanwhile, we got these ships that are trying to push forward. They don't want to lose the A cap. They want to make a play. But because we found this nice crossfire position where we're able to rip these shots at these ships, we got Jean Bart, we're taking shots at Alabama. Like to get him off the board, but we don't want to get too far back where the Jean Bart can tag us in the side. got to keep an eye on what he's doing. So we're going to keep zooming in those turrets, make sure he's not targeting us, because again, we're not really that well angled towards him. In fact, if we wanted to play this a little bit better, we'd be angling more towards those guys, because you can see now that Alaska, that was kind of countering us earlier, he's running into some problems. But look at these shots long range. I mean, this is Kedrov. This is no real accuracy boost. I think I got Scharnhorst if I recall the build, but you know, we're getting some angled armor there, some shatters, but we're able to hit these shots fairly successfully. Baltimore, once again, he's trying to stream forward, trying to support the Jean Bart, and we're just going to wait for the reload, try and back up here and catch him unaware. Again, these guys, they're not going to be focused on what we're doing over here. Most players very rarely look at the map, and they only really focus on what's going on directly in front of them. So not paying attention, and we're able to, you know, again, counter these guys that want to be pushing in here, and we get them with a nice boomer right there. Now, I want to take a second here and talk about the red team's positioning. We already talked, and not to pick on the guys, but just to talk about common issues with domination mode positioning. Number one, the guy in the east, why was that a problem? Because he put those two giant islands between him and the cap. And the cap's where the action's at. That's where the scoring takes place. You want to capture the cap. You don't want to capture this open sea to the other side of the island adjacent to the cap. That's irrelevant. And by moving up over there, you largely take yourself out of the game. And then look at these red ships. Now, they've been having trouble moving into A. We've been kind of countering them, trying to pin them down, make sure they can't be too aggressive with their positioning. But the caps are in the middle of the board there, in the map, you see. And these guys are all playing south of it. Very common problem in domination mode. If you sit back and relax in your battleships and you're not pushing forward trying to gain map control, well, that allows the opposite team to move in, capture the caps, and then kind of control the middle of the map. And that pushes you off into the edge of the map here, where we can't pressure caps as a red team player. We can't really do much. And now they're getting enveloped. They're getting enveloped by the east. They're getting enveloped by the north. And here we are coming from the northeast, creating a third angle of attack on these guys. So, common problem, just sitting back. Even these people, you'll occasionally see it still, where people reverse at the start of the match. You're ceding huge portions of the map, and you're causing major problems. So the game's obviously already over at this point in time, as long as we don't do anything stupid. Now, we're only up one ship, keep in mind, but we got two caps. We're about to get the third cap. You know, the guys came back to get through B, and we're just moving in here and trying to get a little bit more damage at this point in time. Now, we're moving into a pack of ships here, i.e. all these red ships, they can currently all shoot at us, basically. The Jean Bart's coming into firing angles on us. But how do we attack this? Basically, what we want to do is isolate, you know, the one threat. Basically, we got this Bismarck and we got the Jean Bart, right? Those are the two battleships. Now, the Jean Bart's the more dangerous of the two in most instances, and it's also lower health. So when we get a decent shot at him, we're going to go ahead and focus him. You can see we're basically pointed directly at the Bismarck, and then we see the firing angle on that diagram on the bottom of the screen there we talked about. Look how steeply we can keep these angles while getting all three guns on the guy. So now looking on the map, he's about a 45 degree at us, trying to aim up there, trying to hit him in the superstructure. Didn't get a lot of damage, but we got some damage. But as he moves forward, he's trying to continue to push forward north. He's got that, I believe it's in Alabama, if you see on the map there to the north of his position. But we're creating crossfires. I got space between me, and there he is right there, the Alabama. So he's basically he's angled at the Alabama. So as he moves forward, that creates opportunity. If he stops there, he maintains his 45 degree angle towards me and, you know, dead center toward the Alabama. That'd be good angling. But I'm keeping an eye on his turrets. I'm keeping an eye on the shots, all right? Because basically right now, as he moves forward, I'm in more and more danger from him, although we do have the island potentially blocking for us. But note there, he just shot, and now we spring into action. We know the guns aren't in position. He does have a reload boost, so there is that element of risk that a lot of battleships wouldn't present at this point in time. But we pull forward, we get access to the flat broadside. The further more to the west we go, the further more to the east we go. He's flatter and flatter on our screen, and we have no problem sinking him there just a moment ago. Now again, we angle towards, you know, doesn't really matter at this point in time. The Bismarck's really the only AP threat. Baltimore, yes, if he's ripping us with AP shots in the side, that can add up very quickly. The Baltimore AP is quite deadly, so I don't want to sleep on that. But we can see there he's kind of trying to play with the throttle. He's going like quarter speed for 5 seconds, stopping. He does evade the Citadel shot, the kill shot there, but we did blast him. We're keeping an eye on exactly how far he's going. And when we zoom in, we're using that quote-unquote auto aim to see how far it designates in front of the ship. We can get a rough idea of the speed of that target there. So we weren't fooled by his tricks. We blasted them there, waiting to see if our team finishes him off, hoping they were going to hit him with the torpedo. Looks like he's getting away with this, so we're going to go ahead and take one shot, which, we might as well try and sink him. Had we done that just a moment earlier, I think we ended up with 4 kills, so I think we would have had a Kraken, but I'm trying to hold the Salvas for more important targets. Everyone on my team is focusing the Baltimore. No point in time, or no point for me to really add into that, other than just chasing the stats, which, again, Krakens are always nice. We would have taken it had we really known the situation, but not important. So I wanted to highlight that game number 1, how to play B. You can get in trouble playing B on this map. This is the one where if everyone on B clears to one flank or the other, normally that ticks me off on most every map. This one, I'm fine with that play, but if you do elect to play B, you look for these type of positions where they're going to be attacking A aggressively. Most likely we kind of move to the west a little bit to our right and attack that position, and we were in a position to really affect both our own B by making sure they weren't moving into it uncontested, but we also attacked A and helped pin those guys down. So that's an example of battleships moving around. The next game, it's going to be a quick hitter, and it's a legendary tier game. We're going to get taken out. It's probably no more than, 3-minute game, it looks like. But nice aggressive play here. So we got, we got a battleship behind us. We got this Yudachi spotting, and basically look at what we're doing here. This is on fault line, northwest spawn, obviously. Capture the base mode, so there's no guarantee there's going to be action over here. But we wait for the Yudachi to spot. We're going to go ahead and take a pot shot at the Bismarck here, kind of a throwaway shot, waiting for these ships to deploy. Keeping an eye on the deployment, because they had 2 legendary battleships, and they both wind up being over here. So that's going to kind of make me play a little bit more defensively. We're waiting to see exactly what happens at this point in time. Do they have a destroyer? Do they have battleships that we can kind of bully around? No, we got a couple heavy hitters. So we're going to wait till the reload gets here. We're going to try and take one shot because this guy's moving aggressively forward. We definitely don't want to stick around long enough to get shot. So as soon as we take that shot, we gun it into full drive. Probably should have been moving just a little bit sooner. Angled there, withstood most of that damage. And the Grover goes down between us smacking him for 30k and the Yudachi finishing him off with the coup de grace. So quick strike on one of the 2 legendary battleships here. Now we got to play on this Yamato. There's the Jean Bart. He's the other battleship. But note, again, we're not sitting in the back right next to the other Jean Bart. Usually battleships will just sit there. They drop anchor the minute they spawn, and then they just sit by each other. Yamato can angle towards both of us, but he's moving forward now. We go around this island. We're recognizing on the map we do have access to the broadside here, potentially. I'm hoping he's just going to keep trying to gun down the Jean Bart, and maybe we're going to hit him with something juicy here. We're going to find out. But at this point in time, you got to conceptualize what's going on here. We just smacked him for 60% of his health, and we're a tier 7. We're down tiered. So if we straight up trade a Lenin tier 7 for a Yamato legendary tier, that's already a good trade. But we helped wreck the Grover. We helped wreck this. I mean, he's gonna, these are shots we don't want to be taken from him. You can see we're not gonna last very long doing this. He got in range with the secondaries. We're gonna try and finish him off here. If that doesn't happen, we're in trouble. Again, smashing him again for another 20% of his health. But let's say, we contribute to the demise of the Grover. We basically kill the Yamato. We might get a shot or 2 off at the Bismarck here for good measure. And then we die, which is exactly what's going to happen. That's a good trade. And we're score-wise, damage-wise, it's not going to be a barn burner. I think I didn't save the scoreboard on this one, but we were like middle of the pack, 1,500 XP for a quick hit or 5-minute game. But these are, again, these plays you should be looking for by actually moving around in the battleships, creating these crossfires. In this instance, we moved to the left, created the crossfire in the Yamato, and wiped out the side very quickly, which allowed our team to easily win this match. So that's a couple games in the Lenin for you. Hopefully you did enjoy that one, guys. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. New to the channel, consider subscribing. Lots of World of Warships coming all the time. Questions, comments, leave below. Love to hear from you guys, and we'll see y'all later. Peace.